A very good morning to you. Thank you, as always, for joining us here on Global Morning. This is Global Television. We're live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I'm Uyi Agbomofuegbe. Just a while ago, before we got on air, I had to give compliments. I mean, maybe a little more than I should have given on air. But then, what can I do? You know, when you have a lady to your left side who looks so dashing, gorgeous, elegant, and delectable, I mean, words just will never be enough to introduce them. But at this point, what more can I do? Jemai Manson, welcome to Global Morning.
Now, this is very flirtatious. Oh, God. With all these compliments, all for me. That's amazing. You are, okay, first of all, good morning, Uyi.
The invoices are piling up.
I'm piling on to each and every one of you out there. Good morning. It's amazing to be here. It's a beautiful Tuesday. It's a Take Back Tuesday, we say on radio.
Right.
Whatever you did achieve on Monday, you take it back on Tuesday. Well, it's great to have you sitting side by side with my amazing, fine, very handsome co-host with his glasses.
My pleasure. Always.
Nice suit. It's great to always do this with you.
Right.
It's an amazing feeling. And at the same time, the job must go on.
I share that feeling too, right? The job must go on.
Yes, it must. It must.
All right. Good to have you join us, as always, here on the program today. It's interesting how that things are moving real quick. Several developments across the country. But then we are now beginning to see that things are moving even faster with regards to that case we mentioned yesterday from Kano.
Yes, it is.
We're hearing now that Kano State government is taking over the prosecution. It looks like there has to be, if you like, a close monitor of the case or monitoring of the case. There has to be sort of intention or, I mean, there's some deliberate action in this regard so it doesn't get swept again under the carpet like most cases of this nature. Yesterday, I even listened to a few colleagues who said that, look, we don't want a situation where this now becomes, a media item for a few days or a couple of weeks, and the next thing you know, the entire case is swept under the carpet, and then everybody returns to their business.
Yes, and for me, this is taking a new turn. It's not business as usual. Of course, you heard our dear president has come out, he has spoken about this case. Former Kano State Governor Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje has come out to speak about this particular case. A lot of even the suspect's father even said his son is not allowed to be in society. Everyone has come out to speak on this very gruesome issue that happened on Saturday. It's just unfortunate, really. Thinking about it, you know, when you think about it, it sends
traumatizing.
It's traumatizing. Someone who you know, blood, the same blood. And it's just unfortunate that it happened, but I'm glad that everyone is awake now, knowing that sometimes people just want to use this as media publicizing, like you mentioned, and at the long run it's swept under the carpet and everyone goes to sleep and as if nothing has happened. Oh, it's fine. Let's just forgive and forget and allow it.
After it's family.
After it's family. Let's see, he has learned his mistakes, blah, blah, blah. No. The law must take its course. And this should serve as a deterrent in society for other to understand and know that there is the ill that you will commit, you will pay for it. It's not all about, it's not business as usual. Everyone is concerned about this issue. And by the grace of God, it will not be swept under the carpet. It should not be swept under the carpet. This should serve as a deterrent to others that whatever you do, nemesis will always take its course.
Just like you said, just so we're also clear, particularly for viewers too, you know, there are people who maybe on the basis of emotions or sentimentality will say, well, he is the lady's nephew and all that. It is not a family issue now. It has moved past that point. Maybe when they had a fracas, when they had their friction and their misunderstanding, on that level, it was totally a family issue, a family affair. You and I couldn't have been talking about it. We couldn't have interfered. At this point, it is now him, the other suspects, versus the federal government or versus the rest of us.
Exactly.
Because whether you like it or not, you're taking some of us, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five. You're taking, so it is you versus the people, it is you versus the law, it is you versus the government.
Yes,
so it has gone beyond the issue of the cousins, they are near, one person is one person's auntie, it has gone beyond all that. But you see, again, it's very disturbing, Juma, when you realize that we're hearing that there's a pattern to it. That this is not the first of this kind of crime that he has committed. So the question is, has he been arrested in connection to it at any point?
No.
If he was, what were the findings by the authorities, the police in this case in particular? If he wasn't, is it like he was so smart about it? Because there's some allegation that he was also somebody who had burnt an individual in a house before this one. I mean, we have not independently verified that, but it is to say that this instant case alone is disturbing enough. And as such, like you mentioned, it must now become a case in points. I mean, some sort of reference point for all the right reasons, so that somebody tomorrow can reference it and say that, look, such and such thing happened at a particular place, and this was how the case was
handled
in the eye of the law. Because this is 2026 for the love of heaven. We can't be living like animals. Besides, like you mentioned too, these are human beings you knew. And from what we are hearing, the eldest of the children recognized him and even mentioned his name. You see, if I had my way, I would avoid this discussion altogether, because you can't just talk about it and not feel this rush of bombs all over your skin. I mean, I am blessed with girls, for example, so it's crazy. It's personal for me. I have to confess.
I just want to put this out there for individuals who come out, and there are individuals who they don't think outside the box. They just say whatever comes to their mind. Because I don't know whether they're trying to be sentimental or if it's stupidity or foolishness. I do not know where they fall in that line. For individuals that want to come out and say, "Oh, his family, let's let them settle it amongst
in-house."
Please.
There's no house anymore now.
There's no house anymore.
You destroyed the house the day you committed that heinous crime.
And I want them to fathom and picture this incident. An individual that you know and recognize, who is family, comes in with strangers who are armed and the killing will start from the first person. They might think it's a joke, or they might think he wants to rob and go. But when he kills the first person and unalives others, it's a very serious issue. Someone that you know, someone that is family, and it's just unfortunate. You don't want to imagine. We cannot imagine, because we're not in their shoes, to see someone that you know, you trust, will come and commit this heinous act. It's just unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. It's really, really sad. And that's why I said, try, for as much as we know what the country is saying now, insecurity, people are scared when it comes to issues like this. Like in the local palace, some people they read, some will do it legally, some will do it illegally, like what these suspects have done now. Try as much as possible to secure your own environment the little way that you can. Try as much as possible. Don't say, after all, it's a norm in this place. People say like, no, it's not. These guys started as petty thieves. And it grew to what it is now. They started as maybe roadside picking of wallets, and they found, okay, I got away with it, fine. Then they burgled into someone's home, and someone must have recognized them, but because they were armed and they have a voice and people are scared of them, they let it slide. They let the first one slide, the second one slide. They got to maybe beating of the suspects and they got away with it. Okay, so we can actually beat and steal from them and nothing will happen. Then it got to burning, unaliving someone. Now we got to family members becoming targets. So we have to look at, this is a very sensitive issue, and the law has to take its course on this matter. This guy must not go unpunished, please. It's very important.
We're sure the law will do more than bites in this instant case, and we look forward to how it will turn out in the interest of the law, Nigerians, the people of Kano State, and the families that have now been badly impacted by this very devastating incident. But we'll also be turning our attention to a few other issues this morning. We'll be looking at the social implications, socio-economic implications of strikes. We have seen too many strikes in this country. Now it is the FCTA, that's the Federal Capital Territory Administration, that's on strike. One of our correspondents covering the FCTA yesterday had gone out to actually monitor and see what the strike what the pause was. But of course, it kicked in at midnight yesterday. It was fully enforced by, during business hours yesterday. By dinner time yesterday, Monday, 19th of January, no word about whether the issues had been resolved or not. So, drawing from that, we can safely say that the strike continues into today.
Of course.
But the question is, are the authorities in touch, yes, with the striking workers? We're not so sure, but there's a price to pay for this. Economists will tell you, for every day that these workers didn't show up for work, All right, the Federal Capital Territory is losing a lot of money. I mean, billions, depending again on how many days it's going to run for and all of that. We'll also be looking at the now controversial Solid Minerals refinery, which we understand is going to be sited in Lagos. That in itself is raising a lot of dust. The Northern Elders Forum itself is now saying that no way, you've got to site such a facility where the resources are found. Well, there's a model for that. They say the Niger Delta, for example, with regards to crude oil processing. We'll talk about all of those in the course of the program this morning. Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, so now it's clear that workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration are on strike. Their demands are quite enormous. But we're also hearing that the FCT is now saying that quite a number of those demands have been met. Now, the logical question perhaps to be asked is, if those demands have been met, on what basis then are they going on strike? Is it because the most important ones amongst those demands have not been met? Or is it a case that they've if you like, sort of presented a condition to say that until all the demands are met, we won't, we're going to go on with the strike, or we won't call up the strike. But you see, all of these issues have to do with understanding. Sure. First of all, understanding what the responsibility of the employer, in this case the FCTA, is to the employee, and conversely, what the responsibility of the employee is to the employer, again the FCTA. Now, having said that, you are also now asking yourself, were there talks prior to this strike action? How much of talks did they have? Because I don't, to the best of my knowledge, I've followed labor issues over time. Workers don't just go on strike, even in a private setting. They you just wake up one morning and say, we're going on strike. There must have been issues, there must have been some sort of build-up, chilled out point where they say, well, strike is the last option and we're sorry, we've got to toe this path.
And sometimes it has to do with lessons learned. I always say, like what you just read now, that some of the demands have been met. I don't think they want some, they want all their demands. All of them. Because none left. I like how you did that. And because the truth is, we've seen other organizations, look at the health sector, for instance. We have been going back and forth when it comes to issues of strike, when it comes to health. And I think they do not want to take chances. And that is why they want all their demands met. So we can all move past this and move forward. So, but let's just see what this brings. But at the same time, the FCT is losing billions of naira on this strike, and it determined on how many days this is going to be. So I think it's better people the needful is done. So we can move past all of this. I don't think workers should beg for what is theirs. And I don't think workers should actually have to go on strike to put things on hold, put things on standstill because they want their demands met. Although this is a very civil way of, at least they're not burning down anything in the FCT, at least they're doing it in a very moderate form, passing their message in a very civil manner. So I think the needful should be done because it's better. Like I said, you might be passionate about broadcasting, but if you do not have the reward, which is your salary, at some point it is tiring, it is exhausting when you look back and you realize that you have bills that are piling up. You have fees to pay. You have house rent, transportation, food. And if those needs are not met, it's going to cause serious issues. So it's better. And they do not want half and half. They want full. So I think it is very visible. It can be given. So why are we stalling and wasting time in all of these things? So I think the needful should be done. Let's just see how far this goes. Hopefully, it ends today, but if it doesn't, well, hurrah, hooray.
Life goes on.
Life goes on, very importantly.
Well, let us also do the needful now on our end by just giving you an insight into what happened yesterday. Here is a report put together by our FCTA correspondent, Kabir Hassan.
Hopes of an immediate resolution shade after a closed-door meeting between the Joint Union Action Committee and officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration ended without a breakthrough. The workers had embarked on the strike over unresolved welfare issues, including conditions of service and other outstanding entitlements. While both sides engaged in discussions, union leaders say their concerns were not adequately addressed. Speaking after the meeting, the Vice President of the Joint Union Action Committee said consultations will continue, but stressed that the strike remains in force until workers' demands are fully met.
The reason is that the strike continues. There is no headway. If we can achieve what we want, we'll call off. If not so, we are going on, and by the grace of God, I know God will give us the energy to sustain this strike. So many. We have issue of promotion, our wage award, issue of promotion, pension, NHIS, and so many other things. So many. We have up to 22. I've already given them, and they are not upcoming. So many guarantees. We ask them to at least, even if it is 50% of what we have asked for, if they can do it today, we'll call off the strike.
The FCTA has faced a shutdown as the Joint Union Action Committee of the FCTA embark on a strike over unmet demands. And after an emergency meeting with the FCTA officials, the union said strike continues despite no resolutions were made, but promised to call off strike if demands are met. I am Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
All right, thank you so very much, Kabir. This is becoming, I wouldn't want to say interesting, it's becoming a bit complicated. First, this is not just a seat of power, so to speak,
yes,
it's the capital. I recall there was also this very long, drawn-out, extensive, debilitating strike at the other time that had to do with education at the point, health sector, and things like that. And people are now saying that if the minister of the FCT has all the, takes the initiative, resourceful enough, visionary enough to invest so much of, if you like, resources in infrastructure, roads, bridges, and what have you. Is it also possible to do that with very critical sectors like health, like education? And these are the guys that run the administration of this city.
Yes,
more like the engine room, as I say.
They are the engine room, when it comes to the FCT. It's just unfortunate that this is what it is. And for some who say, okay, now with all of these issues, and yet the FCT minister puts his own energy in rivers and just
Oh, you have to go to rivers.
I had to. I had to.
Let the rivers flow.
Really? Okay. But the truth is, you put so much energy when it comes to not minding your own fences, when it comes
political
to
issues, away from the FCT.
Away from the FCT. And that's why so many individuals, I just don't want to mention some, have advised, put all that energy here. There's so many things that need to be, for as much as you are Mr. Project, you're doing a fantastic job when it comes to construction of roads, when it comes to all of these issues. By the way, there's with this construction ongoing, there are places in the FCT that do not have water, do not have stable electricity, and do not have stable networking due to all of these construction. So there are so many things here that are bothering residents of the FCT. So for as much as he's doing a fantastic job, I would never, I do not work for Nyesom Wike, I work for Global Television. But the truth is, when you see someone doing something good, you say it. All of that energy of going back and forth with, you're way past rivers. Please put all that energy and concentrate here. Look at the present issue of this strike of this FCTDA employees. It is a very serious matter. You might say, okay, what are they doing? But look back, you will see that they're doing a lot. They are the engine room in the FCT, so a lot needs to be done. Put all that energy here and fix all of these things. Of course, he's a quick fix. He fixes things really fast. With the snap of a finger, the FCT minister will nip this in the bud. So let's just do that and stop going back and forth when it comes to other issues that are not relevant and doesn't really concern you in that aspect. I think we should move on from that so that there can be stability, free air, and everyone can be happy at the same time.
Incidentally, what we're even hearing now is that the union, known as the Joint Union Action Congress, the ones that Kabir Hassan spoke to a while ago, are saying that there is no truth in the claim that 10 out of the 14 demands that they made have been met.
Okay.
All right, that's number one. Number two is they're also saying that the claim that they've been inviting us to meetings it's not true. But we are waiting to hear from the FCDA. I'd also hear exactly what they have to say in this regard, because we've got to hear both sides of the, if you like, the divide now. But the important thing is, while this is ongoing, the city is losing money. The city is losing in terms of leadership, because these few days during which the strike action is going to run, it simply means that there won't be leadership in place. You and I saw it. The gates were shut, offices are shut. I'm not even sure the minister can access his office as it stands right now. But what more can we say?
You know the bad thing about when workers get to this point of strike, it means that they're actually tired. That whatever wants to happen, let it happen. They're fed, they've had it up to here. And you see that it's very bad. So as employers or employers of labor, you should be able to discern and know when you need to do the right thing. And because this has been a pressing issue for a very long time now. They have been threatened. There have been strike action that they are threatened before now. So you would have done the needful then. You shouldn't get to this point. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't get to this particular point where we now see everything in the open and we now know that there's default or default in this particular sector and all of that. So for workers to go on strike, it means they are absolutely tired. And they have tried as much as they can to patch it up, but it's not working. So this is the only way. So when I go on strike, I need your attention, and you must give me your attention.
Since that's the only way I'm likely going to get your attention.
And if it means causing you national embarrassment, I will do that just to get your attention. So I think that is what it is now. And I think the need should be done. And look at that. They've come out to say 10 out of 14 that was claimed. It's not true. And you see now. So it's just unfortunate that this is what it is. But I think the need should be done. We shouldn't beg for what is rightfully ours.
Sure. Well, let's give you something that's rightfully yours at this point, everyone. Here is Ramsey Enoch Agbo's motivational, which we call inspirational here.
Yes, of course, you are stronger than this moment. Every moment comes and go, but you are stronger than this moment. My name is Ramsey Enoch. It's so good to have you join us today on Heart to Heart. How has your heart been? How fragile is your heart? A lot of people will say the heart is very fragile. Treat my heart like an egg. My heart is fragile, you know. I'm just thinking back. Well, this is Heart to Heart Inspirational. And of course, we need to let ourselves know that if life were easy, strength would be necessary. All right? If life were easy, strength would be unnecessary. Do you get that? If life was an easy thing, we don't need strength now. We don't even need mental calculation. We don't even need to do anything because life is easy. Everything is just going smooth. You just sit down, relax, whatever you want to do, you do. My mother would say, if money were leaves on the tree that you can plug anytime. But it's not like that. Life is not easy, and that is why strength is required. Anyone that tells you life is easy, then that person is not doing you well. No matter how rich your parents are, ask them, is life easy? They will let you know the truth. And the earlier you realize this, the better, so that you don't lag behind, so that you don't just live a careless life, so that you don't live your life like there is no tomorrow, so that tomorrow don't take you unaware, like some civil servants who will never think about retirement until retirement meets them face to face. This is something of 35 years. What preparation have you done? Depending on pension, waiting for pension? All right. Well, with what's happening right now in our own country, I think a lot of people are becoming wiser because pension itself, well, I don't know who is doing strong thing. But then I just want us to know that life is not as easy as we think. Whoever that is putting it forward to you that life is easy, I don't think that person is doing you any good. Life is easy. With faith, life is easy. I'm not displacing the place of ease. Life is easy if you know what to do. Yeah, life is easy if you know what to do. Then strength is also required. But if pressure didn't exist, a power wouldn't develop. Because what you're facing right now is not evidence of weakness. It's not because you're weak. Yes, it's not because you're weak. Sometimes these things happen. It's happening to other people, just that they are not voicing out the way you are voicing it out. They are not complaining the way you are complaining. Sometimes complaint don't even solve the problem. Because what you're facing right now is not an evidence of weakness. It is a proof of capacity. Your ability to subdue whatever the situation is what matters. All right? Some people, I don't want to say, but then I know of business owners, especially people who take risk in business. Sometimes if you know the kind of money they lose, you will be shocked. Sometimes we even insult them. But the day they hit it with that risk, oh my God, they can make double of what they've lost. All right? So it takes a man with a large heart, a heart of capacity, someone who has capacity, all right, to make such moves. So sometimes what's happening to you and what you're doing is not a sign of weakness, it's not a sign of foolishness, but it's a proof that you have capacity, and it's a proof that you are growing, and it's a proof that you're ready to change level, and it's a proof that you are tired of the status quo. You want a change of level. You want it to be better than what it is right now. Life, as a matter of fact, tests us not to break us, but to reveal us. Pressure exposes the strength you didn't know you have. I tell you the truth. Pressure exposes the strength you never knew existed on your inside. So sometimes your ability to overcome pressure sometimes matters. And that's why when you're going to look for a job in some other places, you hear, all right, do you work under pressure? Sometimes it happens. You don't beg for it to happen sometimes, but it happens. Even at home, in your family, it happens. Between you and your siblings, sometimes you see some things, some kind of pressure comes. All right? Those pressures exposes your strength. Your ability to handle those pressure, those times is what matters. It makes you. The weight you are carrying build your muscle in your character.
You shall fulfill your day.
Yes, that is true. What am I saying? I'm trying to let you know that the weight you are carrying sometimes is building your muscle in your character. Storms don't last forever. That reminds me of one of Kirk Franklin's songs that we used to sing those days. Storms don't last always. All right? Storms will come, whether you like it or not. In as much as life is there, storms must come, but it doesn't last and it doesn't exist all the time. But resilient people do exist, irrespective of the kind of storm they have been faced with. You've survived things that once made you cry. Am I telling your mind? Am I saying the truth? Am I saying your mind? Yes. Those things that made you cry sometimes back, you survived it. By the time those things are happening again, you already have the muscle to withstand it. You've overcome moments you thought would end your life. Some things happen and you say, oh, some people think they are finished. Maybe always a grace available for this moment. That same strength is still inside of you. There are strength on your inside that have not even manifested. All right. So when pressure come in your business, in your family, in what you do, in your pursuit for success, don't allow yourself to be weighed down. Let me take gold, for instance. It's been refined by fire, not destroyed by fire. Any gold you see shining today, it went through a refining moment. What refines gold is fire. Fire. They put gold inside fire, heat it. It will be burning it. It's only God that knows what that gold will be saying. But after that moment, it comes out shining. And people will want to pay millions, billions to buy it. All right? That heat doesn't remove the gold. It removes the impurity, the dirt, the unpreparedness, the unreadiness. All right? The procrastinations. All right, the indiscipline, the misbehavior, the unreadiness is being removed by that fire, and you come out pure, you come out refined. Stop asking why me. Sometimes, a lot of people like asking that question. Oh God, why me? Allah, why me? Oh, why me? Stop asking that question. Start asking, what is this building in me? What is this situation trying to bring out in me? Why did this thing happen to me? God, what are you saying? What is it for? What is it for? Sit down and think. Some people don't even have thinking moments. There are times that you need to shut the door. You need to off your phone. Sit down and think. Strategize. Distraction. Kai, I don't know, but a lot of distraction in this our generation, a lot of distraction in this our days, especially this age of internet. Yeah, a lot of people are doing well with the internet, but then there are times that you need to sit down and just you and you alone, you and your heart, and what you have conceived in your heart, that is in your head, boiling, how it's going to get into your hand. Sometimes you think and ponder over it. All right? Trust your resilience. You have survived 100% of your worst days in the past. So what is left? These are the things you should be asking yourself. All right. So I want us to know that this moment will not defeat you. It will develop you. And it's all a matter of choice. You need to decide it. You need to want it. You need to live it. You need to behave it. It needs to be in your head after conceiving it in your heart so that it can enter your hands. Thank you very much. You are a success going somewhere to happen. Recondition your heart, and your thinking cap should be on all the time. I'm Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, you're welcome back. It's Global Morning on Global Television. Hope you are well inspired by the Heart to Heart with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. At about this point is a newspaper review segment, and we'll start with the first paper of the day, is the Nigerian Tribune. And above the nameplate, it says, IMF raises Nigeria's 2026 growth forecast to 4.4%, and that you will find on page 5. Next, on page 25, it says, alleged abduction of 100 worshippers. No man was kidnapped in Kaduna. That's from police LG chairman say. Now, below the nameplate of the Nigerian Tribune, it says, DSS arrests Malami after release from Kuje prison. And beside all of that, on page 21, it says, alleged cyberbullying, police file 6-count charge against Tone Onojobi. And the writer says, remands doctor for issuing alleged fake report for her. And on page 2, it says, amid defection moves, Kano governor visits Tinubu in Aso Villa. And still on that, it says here, Ekiti poll, PDP, SDP missing. INEC clears APC, 11 others in final candidates list. And that you will find on page 15. Now, on the health segment from a neurologist, it says brain diseases on the rise, but prevention cure missing in Nigeria. Neurologist. And it says FG denies setting gold refinery in Lagos. And that you will find on page 2. Now, on page 3, it says Ondo judicial crisis deepens as budget cuts, autonomy disputes, paralyze counts. And the writer says, we've resolved our differences. They should resume soon, Ondo Justice Commissioner. And that's on page 3. And those are all the major headlines making rounds on the Nigerian Tribune. Next, we have The Punch. Over to you now, Lee.
All right, thank you. Let's start with the one above the ones above the nameplates, and then top left corner first, with a picture of Festus Kayamo there. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development. It says federal government votes 10 million naira for Abuja runway after scrapping 532 billion naira deal. Kano governor meets Tinubu amid defection talks. Those details are on page 10. Military discovers Boko Haram underground storage field dump on page 3 with a picture of the Chief of Defense Staff there. Adjacent the nameplates, the job scam syndicates luring Nigerians into Ukraine-Russia war. Pages 18 and 19 would present you those details. And then the star headline here, the kicker says, amnesty deal, outrage mounts as Katsina moves to release 70 bandits. Tinubu to stop release of bandits on trial. ACF, Afenifere, others slam Katsina government over amnesty deal. That's quite interesting. Hopefully the government of Katsina State is making the right decision in this regard. All right, let's take it further down a little for you. Ekiti poll, PDP, SDP rejects exclusion from INEC final list. DSS arrest Malami after release from Kuje prison. Banks record rising loan defaults amid strong demand. That's credited to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Please do yourself a favor, read up details of these headlines from the Punch newspaper today as we move up now to the Vanguard newspaper.
And before we move up to the Vanguard newspaper, I just want to comment on what some individuals are saying concerning this amnesty deal. The outrage mounts as Katsina moves to release 70 bandits. Now, some will say that the reason behind this is because to reduce the banditry attack in that particular state. It's all about that having
to address insecurity.
To address insecurity for the bandits, their head, knowing that, okay, fine, we've released your people, we decided not to persecute them, we've given them a second chance, so reduce all of these attacks happening in Katsina State. That is just the strategy behind it. But I do not know, I don't know if it's the right one, like you have said, if this is a step in the right direction. But in all, the needful should be done, because the most important issue now, the top priority, is the individuals, the lives that are being unalived on a daily. It's the people of Katsina State. So we just hope the right thing should be done. And for me, the law should just take its course. It's very important we understand that.
Right.
All right, let's move to the Vanguard newspaper now. And above the nameplate, it says, IMF upgrades Nigeria's 2026 growth outlook to 4.4%, and that is on page 19. Now, below that, it says, there was never an Igbo coup, and that's from Ralph Obioha. And that is on page 16 to get more of that read. Now on page 12, it says, impeachment, PENDEV reconciliation panel concludes Rivers engagement, returns to Abuja. If you wonder what that is all about, you have to flip over to page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper to be well abreast of that particular headline. And on page 29, it says, DSS arrests Malami after release from Kuje prison. And below the nameplate, the Star story on page 5 says, confusion over alleged kidnap of 172 worshippers in 3 Kaduna churches. And we have 3 riders there. It said, sad development, but we will not give up, says Northern Can adds 172 were said to have been kidnapped, 9 escaped. And the second rider says no one was kidnapped in Kajuru, say police council chairman. And the third rider says abduction exposes grave security failure. And that's from People's Democratic Party, PDP. Now below that it says, it's Kanu now. Governor Yusuf meets Tinubu defect to APC today. And we have one rider there. It says, Governor keeps mum after meeting at Aso Villa. And that's on page 26. On page 11, it says, massacre of Christians. And what we are told, the New York Times Bureau Chief McLean, and that's from Inter-Society. And that's on page 11. Now on page 10, it says Sanwo-Olu signs 4.4 trillion naira budget. And on page 9 of the Vanguard, it reads, anti-Tinubu post, FG amends charges against Shore, delists Facebook, X. And of course, my favorite part of the Vanguard is the Mr. and Mrs. column. So go out and get yourself a copy. I'm well abreast with some of these headlines making rounds in order to get the full details. Next is a Daily Independent, and Uyi will run us through that.
All right, let's look at the one first from just at the top right corner of the front page. Local contractors accuse federal government of using their funds for re-election. That's quite interesting. WEF 2026, that's the World Economic Forum 2026, Shetima Commission's first ever Nigerian pavilion in Davos, that's all the way in Switzerland, right? And then we have the star headline here, reads, IMF taps federal government's economic reforms, stabilizing Naira fiscal position, projects Nigeria's economy to grow by 4.4% in 2026. Obviously, things are looking better. I mean, looking up now. We used to be doing something in the neighborhood of 3% growth. All right, let's see headlines on the left side of the front page. DSS arrests Malemi after release from Kuje prison. Those are, I mean, that's a set of different charges altogether. Those details are on page 7. Kano governor meets Tinubu over planned defection to APC. That's on page 7. Nigeria's non-oil exports hit all-time high, $6.1 billion in 2025. Again, those details you will find on page 7. Ododo unveils state-of-the-art scrutiny security drones on page 6. That's in reference to the governor of Kogi State. Federal government targets new national broadband plan with World Bank's $500 million. And the rider tells us NCC unveils new spectrum roadmap to push $1 trillion digital economy. And lastly, on the front page, but this time at the very foot of it, court slams 100 million naira fine on Nigerian army over land trespass. Those details you will find on page 6. Please take out time to read up the Daily Independent as well, so you can stay ahead of the news. Next is the Daily Monitor.
All right, now the Daily Monitor. Above the nameplate, it says Nigeria non-oil export hit $6.1 billion in 2025. Now below the nameplate of the Daily Monitor, it reads, police dismiss claims of mass church kidnapping in Kaduna. And that's on page 2. On page 6, it says, again, contractors protest alleged debt backlog at Finance Ministry headquarters. On page 6, it says, alleged cyber stalking, DSS amends charge against Shore. And on page 2, it says, Dangote outlines new strategy to drive Africa's economic expansion, industrial depth. And that's on page 2. Now, the Star story on the Daily Monitor says, IMF upgrades Nigeria's 2026 growth rate forecast to 4.4%. And the rider reads, projects global growth to remain resilient at 3.3% in 2026. And below all of that, it says Nigeria's house in Davos responds to past economic lapses. And that's from our Vice President, Kashim Shettima. Go out and get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor to be well abreast with issues making rounds. And next we have the Daily Courier. Over to you.
All right, NCC plans satellites to phone rollouts for 23.3 million Nigerians. That sounds very innovative. NCC plans satellites to phone rollouts for 23.3 million Nigerians. Kidnapped or not, conflicting claims of mass abduction in Kaduna Church Park police denial. Rider says conflicting reports, 172 abducted versus police say nothing happened. All right. It's a question of whose report will you believe. Bandits farming taxes threaten food security. That's according to the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, which is now raising the alarm. Alake lambasts Northern Elders Forum over ignorance attack on Lagos Gold Refinery. KDI warns Senate inaction on electoral reforms threatens credible 2027 polls. DSS arrest Malami after release from Kuje prison. Again, that headline and the story are syndicated across dailies this morning. Trump to charge $1 billion for permanent peace board membership. Time will fail us to go into all that. Super Eagles climb to 26th spot in FIFA World Ranking. Those are the headlines from the Daily Courier for you this morning. Please be sure to look up details for yourself. New Telegraph is our next port of call.
All right, the New Telegraph newspaper, and above the nameplate it says IMF aligns with World Bank, raises Nigeria's 2026 growth forecast to 4.4%. And of course, that particular news is making waves in all the headlines this morning. And below all of that, it says, reports global billionaire population hits record 3,000. And that's on page 8. Now below the nameplate of the New Telegraph, it reads here on page 6, WEF 2026, Shettima inaugurates first Nigerian pavilion in Davos. And the writer there says it's response to past economic lapses. That's on page 6. And on page 3 and 9, no credible alternative to Tinubu in 2027. Senator Kalu, and of course, the writer says, besides Obi, others in ADC are street forces, and that's from Fayose. And on page 4, it reads, reps move to protect digital rights. And on page 2 and 4, it says FG opens 2026 overseas scholarship for postgraduate studies. And of course, the Star story reads more than 160 worshippers kidnapped in twin Kaduna attack. And that's from reports on page 2 and 7. And the rider, there are two riders there, priorities, security, not propaganda. PDP tells Tinubu. And you're financing terrorism by appeasing terrorists, Adeyonju tells government. And on page 4, it says, Trump ties Greenland demands to Nobel Prize in message to Norway leader. That's on page 4. And on page 28, it says, Port Harcourt police inspector shoots colleagues, kills one, injures another. What must have led to that? If you ask me, I do not know, but you can flip into the pages of the New Telegraph on page 28 and you will find out. And on page 429, it says, news of mutiny, false alarm, army says. And the writer says, as troops deny all thieves 53 million naira in proceeds in 2 weeks. 2027, Kano Governor Yusuf meets Tinubu at Aso Rock. And it says, as IBB hold closed-door meeting in Mina. And that's on page 3. Now, on the foot of that, it says, aggressive use of antibiotics can fuel mood disorder, anxiety. And that's from study. And that read is on page 29. For those of you that love to self-medicate, you really need to go get this particular paper and be well abreast with what that is all about on page 29. Next, we have the First Daily, and we will run us through that.
All right, so let's start with the headline. I just sent the nameplates of the First Daily newspaper this morning. First Daily. All right, says JAMB warns against NIN abuse as 2026 UTME opens January 26. Then the big one says kidnap outrage, stop PR, fix insecurity. PDP slams Tinubu over 163 abducted worshippers, police debunk reports. Rivers APC launches e-registration, targets 6 million new members. Army debunks mutiny rumors, reaffirms troops' loyalty. Kano State's governor holds closed-door meeting with Tinubu amid APC defection talks. Court order stopping Fubara's removal is unconstitutional, lawyer. 2027, ex-minister Owanjuba declares presidential bid on ADC platform. Federal government drops Meta X from cybercrime case against Shawore. That's according to courts. And lastly, Ogun police arrest suspects over Destiny Boy's death. Those are your headlines from First Daily. Please be sure to read up details from all of these papers that we've presented to you this morning. And a quick reminder, as always, that Global Television does not in any way contribute to these headlines or their details. All we do for you is bring you the headlines exactly as published by their respective publishers. We're taking a break. When we return, it will be time to join Ogochukwu Mobudo on Social Bars. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
we delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Good morning, the Global Morning crew, and of course, good morning to you, our viewers. Today, to look at what's buzzing on social media here on Social Buzz on Global Morning. And this one, it's coming from X, and X user has asked, he said, a man named AYLS Ekuma has dropped a topic for debate on X when he said his kids do not know who is Jesus, Muhammad, God, or Allah, and yet they are well behaved and say, for Africa to grow, we need to start producing critical thinking kids and God-fearing children.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
we delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television. Water. Water is life. Without water, neither humans, animals, or plants will survive. Water plays a crucial role in various biological processes, serving as a medium for chemical reactions, transporting nutrients, and regulating body temperature. Its scarcity can lead to severe consequences.
Water is essentially what they say the source of life. The 60% of the human body is made up of water, meaning we are 60% water. Our blood, essential processes that happen within the cells of living things is essentially water. For those who are aware of science, the cytoplasm of cells is essentially just a pool of water with certain ingredients moving it like a soup. So a lot of things happen in humans and plants that requires water, and that's why water is significantly very important. The tree of life will not germinate without water.
Impacting ecosystem and human societies alike. Overall, water is not just a resource, it is a fundamental necessity for the existence and well-being of all living organisms. There are various sources water can be gotten from. They include tap, river, lake, ocean, borehole, water treatment plants, and so much more. Water plays vital roles in human life and society.
Human body requires water to process all chemicals that go within it. For the kidneys to function optimally, you need water to allow formation of urine. One needs water for the blood to develop and to allow the heart pump properly. And of course, the blood is majorly water. It needs to allow for diffusion, to allow for the glucose that is produced from the food we eat to get to the brain, for us to be able to think properly, to be able to do a lot of things. It also needs those nutrients to get into the muscles so that we can move around.
In human life, water is essential for various purposes such as drinking, cooking, bathing, and sanitation. It is also crucial for
All right, welcome back. We're so sorry for that breaking transmission. So we're talking about faith versus facts. Has religion stunted Africans' growth? And we are going to be using this Mr. Ekuma Ewa as a case study with what he put up on X when he said, you know, his kids do not know anything about Jesus, Muhammad, God, or Allah, and yet they are well behaved and disciplined. According to him, he said he signed them off from any kind of religious studies in their schools. He went ahead to say that for Africa to grow, we need to start producing critical thinking kids and not God-fearing children. For this is the era of knowing and not believing. Well, that is from Ewa L.S. Ekuma, and that was his tweet there on X when he said that, well, that is, you know, we are in the era of I think this is where they say we listen, we do not judge. But here on Social Buzz, we're going to talk about it and let's know what exactly you think. All right, let's take some comments from social media as regards this from some persons there. And the first one is coming from Mia. Mia says, speaking from experience, as a child, I held on to God. I started praying for things I have not when I was a child. Teach your children to pray, because that prayers will will be coming handy in future. Like I said, I'm talking from experience. Okay. One, that's your personal experience, Mia G. All right, the second comment is coming from Real Yemi Solade. And Yemi says, spirituality is godly, religiosity is manly. Ours is the decision to make. God is real. Now, man, I know trust. Okay, thank you so much, Yemi, for that. All right, the last but not the least comment for today is coming from Black Zeus. And Black Zeus says, as a man, the only religion you should care about is humanity. Spread kindness and love. Differentiate good and bad. Protect and defend when necessary. Love and live life morally. Okay, I love this a little bit too much. But I'm not alone today in the studio. I have with me Uyi Agbomofwewe. Good morning, Uyi.
Good morning, Girl Chiku. Of course, it's always a delight to be here. Are you religious or not?
It's all about faith and fact. Well, I know a lot of Africans are religious, like we are very, very religious. And sometimes I say, we don't even know when to balance things anymore. Like we use religious things to cover up a lot of things that normally we're not supposed to be religious. So right. I don't know what exactly you think about this statement from Mr. Ewa on X.
All right, first of all, let's be clear that the man has his right to how he wants to practice his belief, whatever that belief may be, as long as it doesn't hurt his neighbors or anyone else for that matter. It doesn't hurt even himself. All right. What else? It doesn't run contrary to the law of the laws of the land, wherever he may live. I think those are the issues. All right. So once we are clear on those, everything else is immaterial. However, that should not also now stop others from believing the way they choose to. I think that's always the problem. All right, there are people who believe that their own religion is superior to someone else's religion. It is wrong. In fact, we have seen it become the basis of conflict. Practice your religion in peace. If Ogochukwu decides to join you, it's all right, but you can't coerce her to join. It's not by force. For this gentleman who is saying that, look, well, he doesn't teach his children or his child to be religious. He doesn't teach them about God, about some supreme being or divinity. He just wants them to know, to learn, and to do. It's all right. But you see, I don't think the problem is with religion or faith, as we say. It is with the inability to create or establish that equilibrium, balance of some kind. All right. I think that's what it has been. Someone once said many years ago that religion is the opium of the people. All right. We've seen that, I mean, real time in our faces happen. But quite frankly, the challenge is how do we balance both religion and our civil or civic life? People talk about China every other time. China is a very, heavily religious country. People talk about India. If you move away from the US, for example, you move away from places like China, India is arguably the next when it comes to technological advancement, all right, tech as we call it. But India is heavily religious as well. I mean, you talk about China, you talk about India, you're talking about Buddhism, you talk about Hinduism and all of that. I mean, these are religious countries. So when people say Nigeria's problem is religion, I think we need to have a sit down and have a heart-to-heart, dispassionate conversation about these issues. The problem is you can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian, you can even be none of both, all right, and still be able to provide leadership, for example, because people tend to believe that, well, governors are not working because of religion, the president is not working because of religion, organizations are not working because of religion. Yes, we have seen people take religion overboard, all right, but again, that's because we don't have a system that strikes a balance. We have seen US presidents that are religious. All right, you go to the Middle East, they are religious. But look at Saudi Arabia, for example. Are they not religious? Are they not progressing economically and otherwise? Look at the education, look at their tech sector, look at what they've done with their oil industry. The same oil industry that's a problem back at home in Nigeria. Go to Bahrain, or okay, say let's move to Qatar, for example. Are they not religious? But see what we have come to find with a country like Qatar. Go to the United Arab Emirates, at least our president just returned from there. You can speak with him about his findings. He was in Abu Dhabi for a couple of days. Look at what those guys have done with monies realized from oil. Are we more religious than them? So again, like I said, we have to find time to sit down, look ourselves in the eye, and have a heart-to-heart conversation about religion and how we can move society forward.
Thank you so much. You've said a lot, and I must say that all of that makes sense. Honestly, I don't think religion is actually the problem of Africa. We do not have a religious problem. We just highlighted places like Saudi Arabia and its likes, and of course, these are people who practice religious activities, and there is nothing like issue of leadership. I think it is more of a human issue, like we ourselves. Work on yourself. If you are a leader, then do the right thing. If you know that you need to lead, then of course you need to do the right thing, and that's just all we need, not religiousness. But for you, Mr. Ewa, we respect your decision, of course, that you are keeping everything away, anything concerning religiousness from your children. It's okay. Of course, when they grow up, they know what to do. If they intend to be religious, why not? They don't know what or where to face, which one they want to do, and all of that. So thank you so much for being part of the show, and thank you once again, for your contribution to this topic. All right, that's where we close the curtains for today on Social Buzz here on Global Morning. I am Ogochukwu Mobno. Please stay with us as Global Morning continues.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Thank you for joining us. Our major weather highlight today is a surge of moist maritime winds affecting most of the southern region and parts of the north-central cities. And this will result in higher humidity levels and warmer conditions across these areas. For the coastal zones, early morning thunderstorms with light rains are expected to affect the southwest coast, as well as Cross River and Akwa Ibom states. As the day progresses into the late afternoon and evening hours, rainfall is likely to spread more inland, affecting parts of Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Oyo, Edo, Imo, and Abia states. Up north, conditions remain mostly dry and sunny. However, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, and parts of Sokoto states will experience moderate dust haze with reduced horizontal visibilities of about 2 to 5 kilometers. Residents in the rainfall areas should watch out for brief rain showers, while aviation operators should check the NIMET e-flight folder portal for the latest weather briefings before each operations. And that's your weather update. Join us again.
Abuja Rail Mass Transit is a regional rail transport system in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. It is a second rapid transit system in West Africa. The first phase of the project connects the city center to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, stopping at the Abuja-Kaduna Railway Station in Ido, with more than 2,000 passengers boarding per day. The Abuja Metro Station project, which has been idle for years, was commissioned in 2018 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, and on May 29, 2024, President Bola Tinubu flagged it off for commercial operations. According to the design of the rail, the project is to cover a total distance of 290 kilometers and is meant to be developed in 6 phases.
The facilities we have now is modern facilities. We have what we call DMU, diesel multiple unit, popularly called locomotives. And we have 12 DMU, and each DMU consists of 4 locomotives. So, in other words, we have 48 locomotives on ground now. And the tracks, they are, double, gauge tracks. So, and you can see the stations. They are modern stations. So far, so good. We have recorded over 30,000 passengers since we started 30th of May 2024.
The Abuja Rail Transit has a future expansion of Lot 2 from Gwagwa via Transportation Center to Nyanya Karu. Lot 4 is from Kuje to Kashi, with the remaining legs of the transit way in Line 2. Lot 5 from Kubwa via Buari to Suleja. Lot 6 from Airport via Kuje and Gwagwalada to Dobi.
This is actually my first time boarding a train, and I'm so happy and so glad for the federal government to bring this into Abuja, and this is really, really, really a nice experience for me.
The train is clean, and as you can see, the securities inside there are doing their work. The federal government, I will commend them on this particular development because it's a welcome development in the city centers of Abuja. So people who are coming from the Basanjua to the city centers, who are working in the central areas, they find it very, very easy because due to the cost of the transportation now, fuel cost is too high. People cannot actually afford to use their vehicles to go to work every morning. So they are using the means of this fast light rail to go to their workplaces.
Been on board of the train for more than 11 times, and I feel good that the government provide for us a free and reliable transport for everybody.
Or at least on this one, they did very well.
We are already live inside the train, about to move in less than 5 minutes down to the airport, which is the final stop for today's. And of course, the experience right here, the passengers already boarding, is quite electrifying, giving a lot of commentaries about how they feel about the train. Generally, this is also in a bid by the federal government to cushion the lot of transportation pressure on the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. And we can see the passengers are already boarding, sitting behind, and having a feel of what the train really looks like. For some of them, this is the first time, but for others, it has been on operations right from 30th May till today. They have been boarding the train to and fro. And this is also a way of also encouraging the fact that the experience of the train station and the fact that the security right here is also safe for the passengers.
The commencement of commercial operations of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit project is to solve the perennial transportation problem in the Federal Capital Territory and its adjoining towns and cities. The project will also be a reliable alternative to road transport, help alleviate traffic congestion in Abuja, and reduce strains associated with heavy traffic. The light rail system will also provide mobility for residents to access various parts of the city, as well as support social inclusion and provides greater access to employment, education, and healthcare facilities.
All right, thank you for staying with us, everyone, on the program. Just before we get to that point where we'll bring you our conversation, I would have guessed this morning, we're not hearing that the prices of cement have, let's not say skyrocketed, but they've been jacked up a little. We understand now that the price of a bag of 50 kilogram of the commodity, which before now, let's say even as of December, so for 9,800, is now selling for as high as 10,500. So you can say between December and now, there has been a 7.1% increase on the price of cement. And somebody is wondering, what's my business with cement? I'm not currently building, I'm not developing any structure. Besides, nobody eats cement. But I think what we do not realize is that if you're renting somewhere, or if you intend to rent, whether for residential, for commercial, or whatever it is, it will have its, it will take its toll.
It does take its toll. There's some repairs you need to make.
Right, from time to time.
From time to time. There's some, for me, I think it's very important that you make where you're living very habitable to make it very habitable, comfortable. So you might not like how the outside looks like. You might want to, you need cement to actually, do the plastering and all of that, or whatever you need. I'm not a house builder, so I won't know these things. But the truth is, you need cement in one way or the other. You have a hole somewhere, you need to cover it up or something. It's very important. But for most Nigerians out there, I don't want to sound like Oliver the Twist, but for as much as Dangote is doing an amazing job when it comes to the reduction of fuel price in Nigeria, let him tilt towards that area of cement. There are people that prefer individuals who want to build homes, who will definitely have a close contact with cement. That will go a long way. It will do good in our society when it comes to bringing down the price of cement. So that homeowners also, landlords will not have that leverage of saying, do you know how much cement costs in the market, madam? So you have to increase their rent and all of that, because it takes an impact. It affects you directly or indirectly. If you are renting, for instance, the landlord will tell you, madam, you did not build my house for me. This is the price, and I'm increasing the money. Whether there's a loss of...
Two options. You either decide to pay
or you move out. And please, and believe me, as you're moving out, there's someone that wants to move into that house. So whatever's for individuals out there that will say, oh gosh, it doesn't concern me. After all, I'm not building a house, or... It does concern you, especially when it has to do with rent. That's where it's going to take a toll. And for some who are building, Dangote, please. Now, Dangote is like the African savior when it comes to fuel, cement, sugar, and all of that, because for others, they feel he's more empathetic. He understands the plight of Nigerians. Although people might say he's trying to monopolize the market.
Right.
It's for his own personal gain. But at the same time, does it have an impact in your life? It does. So what's my own? As long as it impacts me positively,
good to go.
I root for him, and I'm good to go all the way.
I'm also thinking about the fact that there's supposed to be competition in that sector.
True.
Or we're supposed to have other players, Boa, Ashakesem and the likes of them. But in all of this, it means that we must take a second look at cost of living, because this is all part of the conversation around cost of living. Part of the conversation, because like you mentioned, it will tell on someone's rent. So if you were paying, for example, 1.5 million for an apartment, the landlord can even wake up and say, well, going forward, your next rent will be 2 million. However, no pressure. If you can afford that, you can look for an alternative while I get someone else.
Yeah.
But again, it's a bit more disturbing when you realize that it's also the same case with houses that were built years ago. Yes. Some of them 10, 15, 20 years ago. But they make it look like they just built it. And they can also hinge their reason for that action on the fact that they do maintenance. But really, how often do these landlords do maintenance? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah, but there are some that take it very seriously. Like those of us that have
what's the ratio?
No, there are some that take it really seriously.
I'm just curious, what's the ratio, between those who take it seriously and those who do not?
Let me just say, I could say about to 10, I would say a scale of 7. I would say they take seriously.
We're going to find a way to lay hands on data that will prove you wrong.
There are so many people that have
verifiable data that will prove you wrong.
Okay, but at the same time, there are people that have conscience when it comes to issues like this. For one, my dad is someone that has a conscience. Like tenants are very happy because he makes it look as if that's where he stays. He takes that time as if there's any little thing. So
fixes it.
Yeah, kudos Salaji Jeremy Ibrahim. But the truth of the matter is that there are some that take it very seriously, but some just don't care. You see houses that have cracks and all of that, and they don't even care. They expect you, the tenant, that hey, please, you're living in that house, you should know what to do. But the truth is, it's all about comfort. Really, if you're staying in a place and you have a landlord who is like a Desical, you will have business with cement in one way or the other.
A landlord, like somebody jokingly said, who's unconsigned.
Right. Exactly.
So you don't want a landlord who's unconsigned.
That cracks me up. But you know what, and that is why they say it's better to own a home. It's an investment for the future. So it doesn't matter whether it's an old house. So whatever the market value is saying now is how you're going to sell the house. Nobody cares whether it has what do you call it? The rooftop is there are different types of
exactly.
The sink or
the one they call oven baked.
No one cares as long as it maintains the market value. And the truth is, it's an investment. So that's where the money is. So whether it's an old house, built beds or crooked, as long as it's strong, it's durable, whatever the market price is saying when it comes to rent, that's the same way he's going to charge.
And again, location is a factor too.
Yes.
If you have an old house, very old, maybe a house as old as 30 years at the central area of Abuja, all right, and you have a house that is probably less than 6 months old, somewhere, let's say, with due respect to people who live in Kuje and Bobolada, for example.
Please, it's still Abuja.
The same size of house, the same, if you like, dimension in terms of the plots, but the difference in the value of both properties will be like day and night.
They're wide apart, because in Abuja here, a 2-bedroom flat in central area you can get for as high as 4.5. And
that means you're having a great day if you get a 2-bedroom apartment in the central area for 4.5.
4.5, sometimes 5 million naira. And then you go to places like Kuje and you get a 3-bedroom flat for and it's standard, all tiled with PVC. I have friends that live
fenced,
and it's amazing. And she tells me this is like 1.5. I said, what?
But again, we're talking about the same areas in Abuja.
No, not the same area.
No, I mean there are areas, 2 different areas, but the same Abuja.
But yes, 2 different areas, but the same Abuja. So
life no balance, right?
I guess. But the thing is, you check out that house, PVC, water, constant light, all tiled, and guess what? in every room there's a bathroom, and then you hear 1.5, and then you come to town here, it's central area,
3 or 4 times that amount.
What do you say? And then guess what? Maybe just 2 bathrooms. Maybe one master's, the bedroom has 1 bathroom,
central,
and the central bathroom. Like this one has bathrooms all
like
the
3.
Rooms. All the rooms. It's 3 bedroom, all the rooms, and a separate bathroom for visitors, and then it's 1.5. And then in town you get something as just 2 bedroom, and you get for like 4.5 or 5 million naira. Yes, life no balance.
Interesting. It's hard to believe that it was cement price that got us into all of this. But it's brilliant to know that these are all intertwined. I mean, they're interconnected. Cement, development, and all of that. And real estate appreciates over time. However, the sector itself is challenged, while at the same time is very competitive. Well, let's take a break, everyone. We'll still have our conversation up ahead for you, which is one that focuses on the state of Nigerian politics, especially as it has to do with the race towards 2027 general election. Please stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Thank you for joining us. Our major weather highlight today is a surge of moist maritime winds affecting most of the southern region and parts of the north-central cities. And this will result in higher humidity levels and warmer conditions across these areas. For the coastal zones, early morning thunderstorms with light rains are expected to affect the southwest coast, as well as Cross River and Akwa Ibom states. As the day progresses into the late afternoon and evening hours, rainfall is likely to spread more inland, affecting parts of Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Oyo, Edo, Imo, and Abia states. Up north, conditions remain mostly dry and sunny. However, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, and parts of Sokoto states will experience moderate dust haze with reduced horizontal visibilities of about 2 to 5 kilometers. Residents in the rainfall areas should watch out for brief rain showers, while aviation operators should check the NIMET e-flight folder portal for the latest weather briefings before each operations. And that's your weather update. Join us again.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Abuja Rail Mass Transit is a regional rail transport system in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. It is a second rapid transit system in West Africa. The first phase of the project connects the city center to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, stopping at the Abuja-Kaduna Railway Station in Ido, with more than 2,000 passengers boarding per day. The Abuja Metro Station project, which has been idle for years, was commissioned in 2018 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, and on May 29, 2024, President Bola Tinubu flagged it off for commercial operations. According to the design of the rail, the project is to cover a total distance of 290 kilometers and is meant to be developed in 6 phases.
The facilities we have now is modern facilities. We have what we call DMU, diesel multiple unit, popularly called locomotives. And we have 12 DMU, and each DMU consists of 4 locomotives. So, in other words, we have 48 locomotives on ground now. And the tracks, they are, double, gauge tracks. So, and you can see the stations. They are modern stations. So far so good. We have recorded over 30,000 passengers since we started 30th of May 2024.
The Abuja Rail Transit has a future expansion of Lot 2 from Gwagwa via Transportation Center to Nyanya Karu. Lot 4 is from Kuje to Kashi, with the remaining legs of the transitway in Line 2. Lot 5 from Kubwa via Buari to Suleja. Lot 6 from Airport via Kuje and Gwagwalada to Dobi.
This is actually my first time boarding a train, and I'm so happy and so glad for the federal government to bring this into Abuja, and this is really, really, really a nice experience for me.
The train is clean, and as you can see, the securities inside there are doing their work. The federal government, I will commend them on this particular development because it's a welcome development in the city centers of Abuja. So people who are coming from the Basanjua to the city centers, who are working in the central areas, they find it very, very easy because due to the cost of the transportation now, fuel cost is too high. People cannot actually afford to use their vehicles to go to work every morning. So they are using the means of this fast light ray to go to their workplaces.
Been on board of the train for more than 11 times, and I feel good that the government provide for us a free and reliable transport for everybody.
Or at least on this one, they did very well.
We are already live inside the train, about to move in less than 5 minutes down to the airport, which is the final stop for today's. And of course, the experience right here, the passengers already boarding, is quite electrifying, giving a lot of commentaries about how they feel about the train. Generally, this is also in a bid by the federal government to cushion the lot of transportation pressure on the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. And we can see the passengers are already boarding, sitting behind, and having a feel of what the train really looks like. For some of them, this is the first time, but for others, it has been on operations right from 30th May till today. They have been boarding the train to and fro. And this is also a way of also encouraging the fact that the experience of the train station and the fact that the security right here is also safe for the passengers.
The commencement of commercial operations of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit Project is to solve the perennial transportation problem in the Federal Capital Territory and its adjoining towns and cities. The project will also be a reliable alternative to road transport, help alleviate traffic congestion in Abuja, and reduce strains associated with heavy traffic. The light rail system will also provide mobility for residents to access various parts of the city, as well as support social inclusion and provides greater access to employment, education, and healthcare facilities.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Let's put this conversation on the road real quick for you now. If you look at the politics of Nigeria now, it is essentially geared towards 2027, and part of the conversation is around what will be the fate of opposition when political parties eventually all throw their hats in the ring, in a manner of speaking. As it stands today, we're seeing the All Progressives Congress, which is the ruling party, been accused of some efforts to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. Add to that the situation where virtually all the major opposition political parties are now faced with one form of challenge or another, from internal wrangling to a litany of litigations, and add to that the challenge of not being able to find some sort of common front or cohesion of some kind at this point. So it is safe to say, perhaps, that there is, if you like, a preponderance of challenges, or you can also say it is now hydra-headed for these political parties and their different players. To help us understand what exactly is happening, where we stand today as a polity, and what the implications are for the 2027 general election cycle, we're joined by Austin Okai Usman, is a political activist and PDP House of Representatives 2023 candidate for Dekin Basa. I would like to say a big thank you to you, Austin, for coming on here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Austin. It's great to have you on the program.
Of course, you have followed politics the entire time in Nigeria. You've seen the evolution and all of that. As it stands today, we are hearing of some sort of coalition. We're hearing that, well, President Bola Tinubu, being the leader of the APC, is determined to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. Some people say that's a lame excuse from the opposition because they are afraid that the APC has already won before the race even gets started.
First of all, there's nothing like you are hearing about coalition. You are aware of the existing coalition. You know there is a coalition. Do you understand? So it's not like you are hearing about coalition. The ADC has come to emerge, and he is the leading opposition. So there's nothing like moving to one-party system anymore. We're having a strong opposition under the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and you know in reality, what gave back to it due to the internal crisis in PDP. And whoever thinks that Nigeria is good, even the president himself is aware that IBB cannot even try that when he proposed the two-party system, SDP and NRC. And President Tinubu himself is aware that he can't. How will you govern a nation of over 250-something millions with one-party system? I don't know you get it now. It is not possible. APC alone cannot accommodate our various political interests. It's not possible. And for this one you are seeing so, you can see the party is having a lot of internal crisis and it's heading to its election. From the congresses to primary, you will see what will happen. So we are having a strong opposition, which is ADC. There's nothing like the hearing about coalition. The coalition has come to be. We have the national chairman, former Senate president, former military administrator of Niger State, Senator David Mark, the national secretary, a former governor, two-time governor of Osun State, two times minister of internal affairs, Rauf Agbeni Aregbesola, etc., etc. So what is there about one-party system? There's not like one-party system. I'm a stakeholder in ADC. It has come to stay.
But again, that's what the challenge is. I know Joma wants to jump right in, but let's look at the ADC itself now.
Good.
Yes, there have been issues around the true leadership of the ADC. We have seen the Dumebi-led faction of the ADC. We have seen another gentleman again who has also now said, look, we are the bona fide leaders of this party. It appears, some people will say, that the wing of the party, so to speak, led by David Mark, former Senate president, is getting off on the wrong footing, because they say by the time this all clears and the dust settles, the ADC might not even be able to stand for it.
How? That is a side distraction. Perhaps that is why some people are saying that they want party. How is it possible? There's nothing like that. INEC regulate, supervise the umpires, the political activities in Nigeria. And if you check their website, you see the current executive structure of the party led by Senator David Mark and the National Secretary. So Dumebi was a former candidate of the party. How can he lead the party? He was a former presidential candidate of ADC. Saying that he's leading another faction is non-existent. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but so you don't.
So as it stands right now, he's not even a member of the party. Is that the point?
He's a member of a party, but you say he's leading. Leading how? That you are a candidate of a party. Okay, I contested for PDP House of Reps, taking an answer. In the election that I won, I was taken from me. Are you saying I'm the leader of the party? How? I can't lead the party. The platform is an independent of a candidate who contested, wanted to use it. It's like you are just a passenger. You boarded a taxi driver or Uber and he drove you down here. Does that mean you are the owner of the car? You come out of the car, the driver goes to a car and another passenger.
Are there factions in the ADC?
I'm not aware of that as of today.
I want to ask a question.
Does seem there's a faction, INEC will not recognize that. INEC recognize and acknowledge and participate in all the activities of the current ADC led by Senator David Mark and the National Secretary Rauf Aregbesola. All the structures that participated in last 2023 election, statewide, are with the David Mark led. So where is this? Where is the faction?
You know what? With all of these heavy weights coming out, like Atiku Abubakar coming out, Peter Obi coming out and saying that they are going to. They're going for the presidential slot when it comes to the ADC and all of that. Do you see it as a challenge in any way?
How? That's why there is eternal mechanism of selecting the leadership, which is primary election, recognized by law. All the electoral acts are aware. And if you are going on opposite, it also has to pass through INEC and through democratic processes. So the political party, political participation, or the process of contesting to win any primary elections is not a monarchical affair. There's nothing like a crown prince. And the party has insisted that the processes of electing or choosing a candidate to be transparent. So what else? P2B is a gladiator. You know,
of course.
Atiku is a political gladiator.
Yes, he is.
And so many, even what the former education minister has yesterday from other brother has declared for presidency. So many people can't declare. You can see the party that have the like of Elvai and Co is a party that is joking. So the idea of one party system, let us kill that. It's nothing like that. The idea of crisis going to come during the primaries or the PDP, you can't take that away because politics is full of push and pull, as I say in the other sister station. It is a battle where people fight for their own interests. And it's not a heavenly race where God will reward you heaven for being a good politician. We all go into politics for interest, which can be national interest, tribal interest, state interest, even your own personal interest or your community interest. So many forces push or pull, encourage, motivate the politician to participate in the political processes. And as long as we are fighting for interest, you can't take that agitation from it. So it has, the party is strong, it has internal mechanism of resolving that when the time comes.
And so in your own words, ADC has come to stay.
You are aware of it.
And it's a strong opposition party for the
leading
opposition
opposition, you know of it. I don't need to tell you, you are a media person, you are aware of it.
No, you tell me.
That is the reality, it has come to exist.
And you believe it's a strong opposition party for the ruling party?
What else? The two candidates who participated opposing the current administration, P2B of Labour Party, who came third, Atiku of PDP, who came second, they are all in the ADC. What characteristic, what exactly do you...
So I'm curious, I want you to help us expand on that a little, because that's the calculation I see people from the ADC, like you just did now, also put forward. They say, well, Obi got about 6 million votes in 2023, Atiku got about 8 million votes, you put that together, it's 14 million. It means that they will floor the APC or whatever candidate the APC will present in 2027. But there are people who also say that the circumstances within the political space have changed drastically. For example, they say candidates Bola Tinubu, as he then was, is now the president. So that is an edge already for him. So is your party, the ADC, still banking on the realities of 2023?
Reality is not even the reality. Nigeria is, the economy is not even as worse as it was then.
So it's worse now than...
Of course, there are so many indices that to make Nigerians to decide. Obi did what he did then, without even a sitting House of Assembly members. And one thing the ruling party is afraid is what ADC is doing, what I call political mass movement. I don't know, 2027 is going to be a revolution through ballot paper, which is democratic one. Nigerians can testify to it. The situation of the economy, the insecurity, unemployment, as it stands now. So you know what it is as a citizen. If you are okay with the present administration, fine. But I can tell you that 60 to 70% of Nigerians are in a hurry for 2027 general election to deal with the current government. And it is a reality. The presidency is aware. The ruling party is aware. Odigi Oyegu John, one of the pioneers, founder of the ADC, yesterday declared that the obedient movement and the coalition force that made up ADC, there's no way his own party, APC, that he was a former national chairman, will survive the coming national general election. You can't know them more than Odigi Oyegu. He's a personal friend of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's one of the national chairmans of APC that Adams Oshimole took over from. So he knows the weakness of his own party, of his own former party. He knows how they emerged.
But you say his former party. We all know that the circumstances that led to where Dr. John Odigie Oyego is today were not very palatable. So people will say you can't use that as a yardstick.
No, you can't say that someone like, he's not just a former national chairman. He has a political relationship with the present president and commander-in-chief before them.
Beyond politics.
So you can't say that. He knows them. Just as I can't tell you I know your office more than you do. So he's not just talking. If you look at his political trajectory, you can predict that he's an experienced politician. And when people like that talk, who else? He's a stakeholder, a national for that matter. So it's not somebody that just talk, it's not a bare parlor discussion or hearsay, and that is just even a bypass, or that is just a passerby. What I'm saying in a sense is that continuation of APC beyond 2027 may spell doom for our economy.
And the ADC wants to stop that.
It has to, and the only way the country can survive is to do it with APC. And there's never a time a coalition of this exists that the ruling party survive it.
There are people who refer to your party as a vehicle loaded with disgruntled politicians. What's the real motivation behind this ADC initiative?
Because perhaps maybe when they formed, I was in PDP when the APC was formed. Perhaps people like El-Rufai and Co, Aminu Bello Ntamboa, Atiku, they all play at the formation of APC. And if they say that this is not what they want, this is not the party they form, this is not the current manifesto or visions or the way the party is governing the nation, is not the idea behind the formation of APC, then who are we? They knew what went wrong. They knew what they wanted. And they knew they are not calling them a disgruntled politicians. Is a common term used by militaries and co. Whoever uses such word is undemocratic because it's a common word used by militaries and soldiers. No civilian will say that a disgruntled politician is not. You can see almost 60 to 70% of Buharists, the Malamis, the El-Rufais, the Odigie Oyegos, the Patamis, they are all into this. Are you saying they are disgruntled? They just finished they just finished serving the government. I don't know you get it now. They were all there and they helped Buhari, what's his name? The current president, President Tinubu, to emerge. And they are regrouping against him after 2 years. Are you saying that they are also disgruntled?
Are they not being pushed by selfish ambition?
Which selfish ambition is that? There's nothing like selfish ambition in politics.
You know, some will say that we've heard all of this before, where individuals will come together or political parties will come together and say they'll do this and this and this and this differently. ADC, what are they actually going to bring to the table that is different from what the ruling party is doing? What is so different?
The campaign hasn't started. And there's a limit to what I can say. I don't know you get it now. But when the campaign comes, we will tell Nigerians what the ADC will do differently. But you know the realities on the street, the realities in the marketplaces, the realities on our highway, the realities in the federal or the national airport. It shows that something is wrong and we can't continue this way. As I'm talking to you now, going to fly from here to Lagos, you cannot, it's almost 300,000 or 400,000. Go by the road, you may be kidnapped before you reach Ilorin, where you have to pay 15 million, 20 million, spending some month in the. We are living in a country where people can't even go to their villages. Last Christmas was something, if not because of the organizations like the DSS and the army who deploy massively and call security, which you can't even, you know what is the reality. Kidnapping has become a business. And one of the biggest achievements of the ruling APC is that kidnapping now that has become, the Senator Nigi said that the kidnappers are even richer than the senators now. And that means another business has been founded, which is unfortunate. And these kidnappers do not just kidnap to collect money, they rape women, they kill people. So it's happening. I can tell you that one person from Yale in the Kina local government was kidnapped in Zuma Rock here for almost 3 months now. His 2 children and him over 3 months. He's nowhere to be found. And they're asking for 100 million naira who pay, and it's everywhere. It's becoming a daily activities. Saying the current government hasn't failed, that means we are not being sincere. Saying we should continue like this, that means we are heading to anarchy, because Nigerians may not be folding their hand and allowed to be kidnapping every day. So something may dangerously happen. And the only way to avert that is by doing away with the government that has failed. How do they fail? The number one responsibility of a government is security of lives and property. And when the government has failed in that aspect, where is the government? And I can tell you that the current government has failed. You know you can't just wake up and go to your village, except you are telling me you are a Igbage man that is staying in Karo or AYA. I don't know, you get it now. From here to Buhari, you risk it. You can be kidnapped. I don't know, you get it now. And where we can't wake up in my own vehicle, with my own money, buy fuel into my car, and I can't visit my village at will, where are we?
But you know, someone would tell you that the issue of insecurity has been with us for a very long time now. What makes you think that with the emergence of ADC, that is if they emerge as the ruling party in 2027, this will be a thing of the past?
Abba, why will they not? Okay, look at what they are doing in Sokoto. The government officials sit down with bandits to negotiate. They give them money. They go back again and buy time. I don't know, you get it now. Come back. Of recent, I heard the Minister of Defense issue warning. The government shouldn't even negotiate with bandits. To the extent that the governor of Sokoto State drove down to Kaduna to visit Malami. I mean, what's his name? Gumi, who has openly been speaking on the negotiation, or some even accusing of being a pro-bandit and co. And up till now, the government has refused to come up to tell us what is Gumi doing. Is he representing the government interest? Is Gumi above law? Why can't he be questioned? You yourself, you are confused about the role Gumi is playing. Are you not confused? So who tolerates that? So we don't know where we are.
If the ADC, I mean, just to, again, expand this conversation real quick, if the ADC were in power, what would they do about someone like Sheikh Gumi, for example?
I won't say that. Just as I say.
But you look disappointed that the government is not taking...
By saying, by expressing my disapproval of the way the government is handling pro-bandit in the north, who are openly canvassing that they are freedom fighters, that the government should treat them like the Niger Delta militant, that the government should build schools for them, give them money and talk to them out of it. You should know that if the ADC is in power, they won't tolerate that. It's impossible. It's impossible. There should be one government. And just as I said there, even if the government failed, there are aspects or a particular cardinal point that the government must not fail, which is the aspect of security.
Right.
And it's not just only bandit. If Abuja Street now holding your handbag as a lady to stand in some point and from 8 o'clock, you are even a man, you are at risk of being stabbed. Is there any week for one chance people do not kill people? Except it's been few have been underreported, or because of the way females, ladies are mostly their victims, and because of poor orientation, some of them say that a prostitute this and this. You see people, there's no, except even the last week a federal high court staff dead body was found. The only lucky the lady has is because her ID card was unfounded on the ground. You know, they would have labeled her. So ladies go through a lot at night. And because of unemployment rate, most of these self-employed, all these small business owners, they don't even care about them. You close around 11 o'clock, you're on your own. So the insecurity, when if a country like a federal capital territory is not secure, what will happen in some state capitals again? So the realities on ground is that the government that has failed in security has nothing to do in staying beyond the first terms of their power.
All right, we'll take a break real quick. But let's talk about governors. We understand how pivotal governors are to elections and electioneering in Nigeria. In fact, it will appear the more governors you have on your side as a president, the better your chances of winning election, or if you like, gaining some political mileage. Incidentally, on this front, President Bola Tinubu has been able to win a good number of governors, especially from the PDP to his side. As we speak right now, just a matter of hours ago, the governor of Kano State was with him at the villa, and some unconfirmed reports are saying that the talks essentially focused on his defection, which you understand should have happened about a week ago or so. Does it not give concern to your party, the ADC, that governors, as powerful as they are, in their numbers, are siding with the president and the All Progressives Congress? Does that not already show that you're, if you like, tagging along?
Well, PDP and President Jonathan was with 28 governors when he lost to APC. 28 incumbent governors was with PDP when Buhari took over, not militarily, through democratic revolution. So governors, you are saying, how popular are they, most of them in their state? Look at the Rivers State governor. Is this safe? Can APC protect him in Rivers State? You are following what is happening there. So a governor will be, we are always saying this thing because the elections are designed, mostly in Nigeria, not to be free and fair. You know, what will the governor do? He has only one vote.
Based influential.
Yeah, that is the reality, but based on their state and how influential they are in their various states. So if the president let him have 36 or 35 governors, okay, why he has more than majorities of them now? Why is he still looking for them? That shows he's afraid. Why did he need the kind of government?
But they say the goal is to win.
Exactly.
To win
it's all about
landslide,
not just
landslide is the governors that, how many are they? They are 36 or 34 or 35. And compared to over 20 million to 30 million voters in Nigeria, if people should come out to the street. Nigerians are tired. How many of these governors can 100% guarantee in the free and fair that they can deliver their state? So the idea of the more you bring in the new governor, the older hand that voted for them are ready to work with us. And that's why I talk about implosion. And you hear what the Taraba State APC chairman state categorically, that treating the newcomer better than them will be a crisis. He sent a signal to them, and it's happening. And the Kano State governor cannot go like that because the like of Barao, Gadujes, and co are firmly on ground. So we are looking for him to go there. Then we'll see how other people will work with us.
In Kano State?
There must be political misunderstanding because it's a game of interest. You think they are interested in Tinubu because he's a god or his work? No. If their interest is no longer protected by the newcomer, the old comer will have no option than to work against it. That is how the game is played.
And the ADC is waiting to take advantage of that.
And the one that can happen to you in politically is political anti-party system, where a member of your own party is working against you. And that's why some of us, the political analysts and observers, say there's going to be an implosion in the APC, and no prayer can save them. And that's why the president wants more governors. If they can even create another state now and get additional governors. But how long can
I don't think, obviously, we don't have enough time to do that. So create more states. Let's take a quick break, Austin. When we return, we'll look at a few other issues. For example, when it's all said and done, political parties will all let out their dogs to join the race, but it is INEC that will be the umpire at the end of the day. Incidentally, there's a new leadership in place now, the INEC. What does that mean for these parties, especially for those who are on the opposition side? We'll find out after this break. Please do stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, Ajuma, I'm sure you have a question you want to ask.
Yes, you brought the issue of INEC.
Right.
And all of this when it comes to 2027 general election. Do you see transparency, accountability when it comes to the part of INEC playing their part for the rightful candidate to be the president of Nigeria?
That is the problem we are having. Is, the INEC is a major problem because they have turned themselves to the highest bidders should have their way. And especially most of these returning officers from the universities, professors. And that is how unfortunate the country is. A professor. And that happened to be the highest education one can attain.
Right.
And not just he gives out, he or she gives out, impart knowledges. So the INEC that largely from academic environment is not helping the nation. I don't want to talk about 2027 yet. Look at the history of corruption in the country. Where do you meet corruption first? Secondary school. Paying to buy WAECs, contributing money to pass, and go to university and begin to bribe the lecturers to pass, or sex for pass. You know it. So what am I saying? If this country goes down, it goes down on all of us. As a politician, I can join APC tomorrow and still benefit from the road if I want. But what happened to the professionals? I don't know, you get it now. So we must be sincere to ourselves. Do we want this country to survive? Then we must check our classrooms. The professors, the return officers, the INEC ad hoc staffs, the coppers who goes out to ring election. And at the end, you will be looking for a job. At the end, you are not safe. Rebuilding this country must be a collective effort. Look at INEC national chairman. He has appointed our appointment as an ambassador. He to run away from the country because he knew what he did.
He got an appointment. Exactly. What's he supposed to do?
Because of what?
He got an appointment. What's he supposed to do?
Why? Which appointment? That shows he was not neutral in the live selection.
So what
ambassadorial appointment is a reward system for people that work for the government who participated in the campaign council.
That is your own personal
It's
opinion.
not my personality. It's not my personal view. You can't say that. That is the reality. Whoever gets a political appointment in terms of ambassador and elder, he must have don't you see the role of Femi Falana, the like of Reno Omokri and co play for the government before they were given the appointment? Okay, are you saying that the only person that people are claiming that is neutral is Mahmoud? Why? How? You say, Professor, why can't he go back to class?
But he also has the prerogative as a human being to decide what he wants to do with his career.
What you want with his career. No. You can't tell me that there are levels you reach. You can't say you have personality. Like, which personal life? He supervised the election where he said there was a system glitch. One of the most controversial elections in history of this country. And he's now benefiting from it. Are you telling me he was neutral? And you are defending that as just a personal, and I said it's my opinion? We don't have a nation by that behavior. Someone like Mahmoud should resign. In fact, it is shameful that you're trying to call. I don't want to even go there. I don't want to discuss about that guy. It's too obvious. It is an affront on our democracy that a midday national chairman of INEC is appointed by the party as an ambassador. Come on.
Well, how do you rate the current chairman, Professor Joshua Amogbite, on a scale of 10, for example?
What has he done? I can't rate him. Is he not from the same environment? He's from my state. What am I mean by environment? He's not a professor from a university. What are you expecting?
Is there a problem with professors being appointed?
You see it. They have the problem. We are having all the professors who are coming to the INEC Today, INEC is one of the most corrupt institutions.
So you do not.
You have to clean it, and the man lacked the capacity to clean it because he has not done any major sacking.
So you do not see.
We are expecting some of those directors to be fired.
Austin, so you do not see competence or professionalism in when they are taking out the.
Well, let's see what they will do. You see, with the man that corrupted the lecturer in Abia State, a female professor, who insisted that Labour Party won, and insisted that Lesotho was he not celebrated across the country? Internationally. So this is not about the party. It is about the future of our own children, your own safety, even the running of the cost of doing business.
Mr. Austin, I want us to talk about this a little further, so it doesn't look like we are playing the ostrich. Would it not be a case of kettle calling pot black when members of the ADC, for example, like yourself, who had also participated in activities of the PDP or the APC in the past?
I didn't participate in any activities of APC.
Okay, no, that's why I said.
And take note, I'm not just a politician.
Right.
I'm a PhD holder in view as an authority, a chartered accountant, MSc public sector. I'm an authority. I don't know you get it now.
So you have your professional life away from politics.
That is just the reality. And I'm talking as an authority, not just as an authority, as a concerned citizens. Are we okay the way the country is? Are you okay with the cost of running a global TV? You should look at the economic aspect, the cost of running a business in this country.
But Mr. Austin, you're making it look as if overnight everything will just change.
But we are getting worse.
Remember,
No.
Before now,
When Jonathan left,
that we
I disagree with you. When Jonathan left,
you cannot.
When Jonathan left, we were leading economy in Africa.
But we said that was
with Abuja being the fastest growing city within Africa. We were doing well. The dollar rate.
But we had issues of corruption during that tenure.
Where?
A lot.
No, Jonathan corruptions and Buhari incorruptible. How is the economy? How is our life? How are we feeling? How safe are we? And I said it earlier that even moving from one village to another is a problem. A country where kidnapping has become a lucrative business. That is what we are talking about. What it means is that, God forbid, anybody can be victim of this atrocity. Who is safe? It is left for us to embark on self-orientation. Do we want this country to continue this way or not?
I was going to say,
how many of our big men have their children in this country? They have turned Nigeria to a place where you make your money, fire out your children, and you come back and remain. Members of the National Assembly, how many of their children are around? Okay, what happened to the commoners? We are talking of the giant country in Africa. And that is why other black, small countries see Nigeria as a disappointment. Look at what the Ghanaian coach did to our Super Eagles. So what we are saying is this. It's not about me being an ADC member. It's not about me being a politician. It's not about a kettle called what a pot called a kettle a black. As your colleague said, it is about the reality that is down on each and every one of us. Go to the banks. Go to various hotels. See the way the security people are operating. Just give them a tip of one time. You can carry Bob. Nobody check you again. The system is back now. Everything is going down. Because a man who comes to the work is interested in how to get transport back.
As lawyers always say, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Exactly.
There are people in your party, the ADC, who also had been in government during this time we're referencing, whether it was the lifetime of the late former President Buhari administration and what have you. They played roles, even whether it was the...
and perhaps they are looking for opportunities of correcting their mistakes.
But
so you feel the ADC...
Okay, look at this. Look at the problem of Malami. Is ADC defending him?
But some of your party members...
He's not saying to you that this is a disciplined party.
But your parties...
Do you say ADC organizes a protest?
There are senior members of your party who say that it is political witch hunt.
Definitely. The question is why now?
Is there a better time?
Okay, there are other people.
Is there evidence?
Out of Matawale, who is the meaning?
Party not petition?
No. Who are you submitting petition to? Another person appointed by a government. Look at Matawale, Bello. The parties themselves accuse him of being their member, allegedly. Bawa, the then EFCC chairman, was prosecuting this for over 70-something billion. Why is Bello Matawalle getting the other route? When Malami, they are spraying CentOS insect killer on him. What were we saying? There should be fairness. Some of those people crying out and said because of his involvement in ADC, where were they since before he did not participate? It is when fully he declared for governor of Kebbi State, and this is coming. And even at that, have you seen ADC in the official capacity issue statement defending him?
They will not even.
Perhaps want to become a governor to correct his error. As of today, just as EFCC said about the Yahya of Kogi State. If Yahya EFCC chairman said that Yahya is still innocent or to prove guilty, then Malami is also innocent or to prove guilty. I do not speak for corrupt people, because I hate them.
But let me ask a question, Mr. Austin, quickly now, because of our time. You said something about these big wigs coming to ADC. Is it so ADC is now a platform for these individuals that, in quotes and unquote, made mistakes to correct their errors?
It's not like that. I'm
curious.
So were some political exodus from PDP to APC, apart from Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who among them who did not left APC, PDP? Who among them? Are you talking of the powerful Senate President Godswill Akpabio? He was in the PDP. Dave Umahi was in PDP. Okowa was in PDP. Go back to North. Even El-Rufai was in PDP. Tabwa was in PDP. Kwakwaso, who participated in the formation of APC, was in PDP. I don't know you get it. And Gaduje, who was a former national chairman of APC, was a deputy governor to Kwakwaso when they were in PDP. Who among them? Saraki, he was in PDP. Amechi, he was in PDP. So you cannot stop the political movement. That is the reality.
It's quite interesting. We are going to continue to follow these developments, Mr. Austin Okai, as they evolve. But we understand that your party is not relenting in terms of putting up a formidable opposition against the APC as we make progress into 2027. But again, campaigns have not started officially, but you know how politicians do their thing. They're already putting their best foot forward at this point, especially for those who believe that the ultimate goal is to oust the Tinubu-led administration by 2027. We'd like to say a big thank you to you for coming to honor us with your time.
Thank you for having
this morning. We do not take it for granted. Well, that's what we're leaving the program this morning, everyone. We hope you've been enlightened about many of these issues as they continue to unfold. Remember that the views of our guests are their opinions. I'm Uyi Agumofwewe.
And I am Jumai Manson. Many special thanks to our guests for your wheels of knowledge concerning this issue, Mr. Austin Okai. Thank you for being a part.
Dr. Austin Okai.
Dr. Austin Okai. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Have an amazing day ahead. For Uyi and I will say bye-bye.
Thank you.